was Arnett Garden's leading goal scorer, I think 2016, 2017, not quite getting to those 15, 16 goal seasons.
Yep, so we're off. Christopher Mason in charge of this one. And yeah, Dumbleholding in the full blue, just 8 goals on their entire season. And as you said, well, Jermaine Thomas believes that the team does have quality and will find their way. Main strike force last season of Peter McGregor and Atafarai Bygrave, that broken up. Bygrave to Vietnam on transfer, the leading goal scorer last season. And Peter McGregor has just lost form badly. I'm not sure if it was myself and you covering that game where he missed that chance on the line. It was actually supposed to be Atafarai Bygrave's goal, but yes, he went to try and finish it off and cleared it amazingly.
Yeah, I remember
He's just never
happening.
fully recovered from that last season. Yeah. So he's on the bench because of the lack of form.
Yeah, but as I put to their coach, Thomas, pre-game, it's going to be hard for this Dunbeholden team to stop an Arnett Garden's team that is beginning to find its legs, because they weren't able to beat them consistently before, and they had better teams than they have now, because we've just outlined the kind of quality that they have lost, especially on the attacking front with players like Bygrave and Demario Phillips, and as you said, Kimole Bailey and so on. Those are quick, aggressive, genuine game changers, and they've had to do without them this season.
Yeah.
And they've only won once against Arnett Gardens in 8 meetings. But here's the man that could make the difference.
Christian with the captain's armband. That's a poor pass, and Arboin, well, overextended himself, then a shot from outside the box. And it's cut down. Arboin stretching to try and block that. I'm not sure if he extended the groin.
It seems so, or he took it in the groin. I'm not sure. I wonder why he would do that.
Across the box, and that will be easy for Edwards from Ricardo Thomas. Playing in the left back role, where he does play for the national team, but played the entire season last year for Waterhouse at right back. In fact, in the last game, he was in the right back position. Well, he's alternated actually. So the ability to play both wing backs. McCarthy looking for Barnett.
I think there are aspects of the Waterhouse team that could be struggling a bit too with Donato Thomas's absence.
Williams is looking to turn and strike. Had a good game, Williams. The last one out, and the play broken up. Driving forward, Juma Johnson wide into the area, looking for Reed. And it's cleared up by Watkin, and I can tell you he's a no-nonsense defender, Shavoy Watkin.
Tremendously outstanding for Portmore two previous seasons.
Oh yeah, he was the best player in many of the games for Portmore in a dismal season for them. But yeah, he was solid, and he's, I would say, done a good job to replace Dyer, who went to Mount Pleasant, as we said earlier. Anyhow, here's Johnson. Nice delivery into the box, cut out. Comes back to him. Juma Johnson, who played left back the entire season last season, and we kind of thought to ourselves, he's not very good defensively, but with that talented left foot, he can create so much damage. And I'm wondering if it was a ploy by the coaching staff to get him more fit and improve his work ethic. Well, it has worked, because now that he's come back into the midfield, his lungs, his legs are a lot stronger. Long through into the area here. It's deflected off Cunningham and out for a throw.
His goal that beat Mount Pleasant 3-2 was a beauty, actually, in that Monday night game. Was it a Monday night fixture, was it?
Yeah, it was.
Arnett 3-2 over Mount Pleasant. That Ajuma goal was a beauty.
Yeah, nice build-up play as well. Wayward pass, and it's going to come out to Thomas.
Thomas had a couple of internationals for Jamaica as well, and did represent Jamaica in Olympic qualifying. Leonardo Thomas, a lot of speed, a lot of energy down the flanks.
Yeah. Had I would say an okay season for Waterhouse for his standards. I thought his deliveries needed to be a little bit better and more on point from the wide areas. Let's see. Another wayward pass. Arboin His work rate amazing. Had the best season of his career last year, and he's been playing since 2014, Kimani Arboin. Managed some 7 goals it was. Actually, 7 goals and an assist. Play continues. Here's Stephen Williams looking to work his way in. Comes out to Thomas. Thomas, not a bad delivery into the area. Looking for Barnett, comes out to Christian. Back to McCarthy. Well, not usually align a bad pass with Fabian McCarthy, but there was one. Bit of a knock there.
Yeah, he's been down for a while. I think it's maybe Shanoy Evans that may have been, you know.
Usually wears a 25, but has on 32 today. You know, Watkin cleaning up things. Back to Damien Hyatt, a man who's won the Premier League twice as well with Arnett Gardens, now playing against them. Yeah. Didn't help him much last season. He was losing end of the stick twice. A 1-0 victory initially, goal scored by Romeo Guthrie, and then a 2-1 win as well. On that occasion, it was actually goals from Damari Deacon and Luca Kong for Arnett. And of course, no surprise that Atafroy Bygrave scored for Dumble Holding in stoppage time.
Unfortunate handball there for Damari Deacon. The ball just bubbled up inadvertently onto his arm, but his arm helped him keep control of the ball, so the ref had no choice but to call the playback.
Yeah. Christian again onto the right-hand side of the attack. Playing with a 4-4-2 today, Dumble Holding. Played majority of last season like that. In fact, most of the time it actually morphed into a 4-3-3. Of course, they had 2 strong centre forwards last year, as we said, because Bygrave and McGregor were there, but not quite the same potency or chemistry up front so far this season. Anyhow, Reed looking for Deacon. Into the hard tackling Martin. Martin scored from the penalty spot in the last game as well against Mount Pleasant. That pass looking for Juma Johnson is inaccurate.
One of the keys for the Dunbeholden team today is how much Nicoy Christian will be able to dominate in midfield, because their game is centered around his passing ability and his dribbling skills as well, because although I think passing is the strongest point of his game, he is a good close ball dribbler and he can
Well, play broken up. Here's Ajuma Johnson cutting inside here onto the left foot. Ajuma Johnson with the right and over the top. And let me tell you, yeah, he does favor the left, but the right does have quality as well, and he scored so far this season with it. This time he couldn't quite execute. Mix up in the midfield by Dumble Holding. Cut the shot off with the left. It was blocked initially. And then, well, yeah, the right foot over the top.
Yeah, his goal last week was with the right foot, wasn't it? His first touch was with the left, which set it up brilliantly, and he just slid the ball right-footed.
Yeah, into the far corner.
Yeah, high-quality player.
Had a goal and assist in that game. Thomas, he's been busy in the first 10 minutes or so, looking for Williams. Yeah, Williams will give them his strength, but doesn't really have, I wouldn't say, a lot of pace anymore, Stephen Williams.
He's strong, though.
Yeah.
Very strong.
Here's Ajuma Johnson. Will he keep it in? He does so for the moment, deep inside to the inside the area.
Yeah, Watkin doesn't get a lot of distance on the clearance here.
That's well done by Arboin. Just lost his balance there, Arboin, and then the foul committed. Thomas in the last game spent quite a bit of time on the turf.
Yeah.
Does have quick feet, so tends to pick up a lot of those late challenges. I think he's injured. No surprise that Martin was the man with the hard tackle.
Some evidence here in the first 10 minutes, Chris, too, that Dunbeholden are trying to keep pace with Arnett Garns, because Arnett is a fast-playing team, and their energy level, Dunbeholden, looks to be turned up at the moment, because they probably feel that they can trouble Arnett if they match them with speed on the ball.
Yeah. Here's Arnett Deacon. Does have some pace, but that touches off from Damari Deacon. Had a good game. The last one against Mount Pleasant, played very well. But then, as you said, there's always a thin line with Damari Deacon. Temperamental, to say the least. And he got a yellow card, and the coaching staff said to themselves, look, the way he was heating up, he's going to cost us. Took him off. And, well, the player who they brought on got a red card of his own in Kelson, Rashid Kelson. An awful challenge. And, yeah, Arnett were reduced to 10 men. Anyhow. I can tell you, last season in that 1-0 victory, Arnett actually went down to 9 men in that game. Still managed to come away with a victory from the captain. So, in fact, twice last season they went down to 9 players, and both occasions they won the game. I'm not sure they would want to experiment with that again, but yeah, Cunningham. For Martin. Out wide to Deacon, inside to Martin. Martin, through ball, looking for Deacon, but a little bit too much weight on it and goes out of play. Damari Deacon, 2 goals on the season so far. He had 2 last season, so he's equaled that performance. 12 in his Premier League career. Damari Deacon, such a skillful player from the wide areas. I call him a crowd influencer as well, because he can certainly spice up the audience. Here is Williams. Scored in last week's 2-0 win against Mobile. Williams again. Well, Thomas hits the turf again. This time, no whistle on the play from Christopher Mason. Here is Powell. Look at the turn inside.
A lot more comfortable for these players here in the cooler conditions, Chris. It's even a bit chilly as we speak, compared to the 3 o'clock fixture when Cavalier and Portmore had to contend with, you know, really, really searing heat.
Yeah, no sun at all.
Yeah, so this is a lot more comfortable for the players.
You better call for your windbreaker. It's chilly, to say the least.
Temperatures are declining.
Yeah, there's Jermaine Thomas in, Ricardo Smith, the assistant coach closest to, and Harold Thomas, the technical director in the brown cap there. Hasn't been at all the games, but yeah, here's Thomas, the head coach, and also the head coach of McGrath High from St. Anne in the Da Costa Cup. He's been there for some time. In fact, he coached Peter McGregor when they made it all the way to the semi-finals, McGrath. Right.
Harold Thomas had been a Rivoli coach many years ago, and also spent some time at Harbourview.
Harbourview, yeah. Oh, Rivoli was really something in those days.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Lots of space here for Thomas. Good ball into the area.
Let's go. Be ready.
He's looking for Williams. Didn't quite find him. No, Christian. It's been a bit too wide for me. And that will go to play for a goal kick. Not sure if Dunbeholden this season, though, when I've watched their games, I've quite worked out how they want to play with this new lineup that they have. There's Paul Teagat Davis, who did it as a player and as a coach at one point, the leading goal scorer for the Reggae Boys. I think some 18 goals in his career. Paul Teagat Davis played so many years for Seba United, or now Mobile United.
I think he had a short stint in Israel as well. He had played some football in Israel. Teagat Davis.
Yeah.
Very, very solid striker. He was the Gary Lineker type.
Oh, yeah.
He just knew where
Right
he
place
needed
at
to
the
be
right
in
time.
the box, and he put goals away.
Real goal poacher. And, you know, here is Ajuma Johnson. Really a rejuvenated player, Johnson. That will be a foul. To remember Ajuma when he was at Camperdown in 2014, played on that all-Manning team eventually. Used to call him Suarez and wore the number 7. Well, I see you did get your jacket, Lance.
Yeah, I need it, Chris.
But yeah, Juma. And as I said, he would be to Arnett Gardens what Nicoy Christian is to Dumbo Holden. That kind of creator, that kind of in that number 10
That's
position.
right. Yeah, that's right.
But what Johnson brings is goals, which is what Christian doesn't really have much of. And so that's why he is extra dangerous.
I'm seeing a temperature reading at the moment at 24 degrees Celsius, Chris, but I
You
suspect
think it's lower than that?
I suspect it's a little cooler than.
Yeah, the last month or so has been, I don't even know if it's as much as a month, but maybe the last 2 to 3 weeks has really been chilly, even in the days.
In the days? I don't know about that, Chris.
Yeah.
In the nights for sure.
Well, the nights for sure, but I can tell you earlier as well, at some point it's been pretty chilly.
Yeah. Zakia Wilkes, a central defender, in some injury trouble now for Dunbeholden. They don't need that. Not against Arnett Gardens.
No, one of those new players that added to the roster, especially for this season. Good tackle there by Kimani Arboin. Such a vital part of this team now. Former Charlie Smith standout, Kimani Arboin. Playing Premier League for such a long time now, and he's still quite young.
Good skill there initially by Tyrese Gow, but he wasn't able to. Switching over from Mount Pleasant, he was with Mount Pleasant last season.
Yeah. There's Gerald Neal up front. Fabian Reed in an offside position. And it probably a little bit more settled so far in the first 17 minutes or so.
But this has been a not too bad start from Dunbeholden, because their season has been pretty patchy.
Yeah, very inconsistent.
So far. And starting well against Arnett is important, and I think they've done that.
Yeah, they have shared their results equally. Dunbeholden, 3 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses. So you'd have to say that based on that, the fact that they won last week 2-0 doesn't say well for them for this week then.
Yeah.
if you were to really check the results. Yeah.
If we follow the trends, yeah.
Yeah. Foul again on Ajuma Johnson. Match week 9, it was a 2-0 win for them against Mobe. Match week 8, it was a 1-0 loss against Malines.
Yeah.
Ball into the area. Yeah, well challenged and illegally so by Earl Simpson.
Yeah, I think head collision there.
Yeah.
Yeah, head collision.
They're calling for the bench immediately. And match week 7 was a 0-0 draw with Waterhouse. So just to show you how they have shared the results. Each game, each week, a different kind of result.
We've seen 3 faults already on Ajuma Johnson, which does suggest that they are targeting him because they know how dangerous he can be. Yeah, Watkins,
yeah.
Watkins, yeah, headed in the back of the head there by Simpson. And,
Stretcher is on as
well.
well.
There is obviously a concussion process that has to happen now. He looks groggy.
Yeah, he's up quick. He's a tough customer, let me tell you that.
Dunbeholden won't want to lose him here for sure, because against the high-scoring Arnett Gardens team, you want your defense line to be at full strength.
Yeah.
And Chevoy Watkin being
Oh,
in
no,
their
he's been
defense
a lion
represents
for
full
them.
strength.
Yeah, he's been a really good addition. Probably I would think, up to this point, their best transfer this season. Of course, they did bring in Cardell Benbow as well, who is now off to Costa Rica on a contract, and we wish him all the best, of course, and that's based on the season he had last year, where he scored some 11 goals and had, I think it was 4 assists.
Yeah.
So he's out for a while at least.
Javon East is also in Costa Rica at the moment.
Yeah. Quite a few players going to Central America. Nicholas Nelson was in Guatemala. He is now back to play with Malines. He was on a loan deal.
There were others as well. Craig Foster.
Craig Foster.
And Siobhan Marsh, the Cavalier man, between Costa Rica and El Salvador.
Yeah. The two number 12s at it a bit, and then a hug after to say, don't worry about it. Ooh. Was aggressive at first, and then I think they realized, oh, it's you.
Well, not only that, but the referee was coming in their direction, so they had to pacify that.
Correct.
Smart men.
Yeah. Purcell as well. Sometimes his role goes unnoticed, but such an important man for Arnett so far this season in the middle of the park.
Yeah.
Jamar Purcell.
Former Manning Cup winner with Jamaica College,
JC,
wasn't he?
yeah.
And one with Cavalier in 2021.
Yeah.
Hit the winning penalty for Cavalier in that final.
I don't think he got as much playing time as he is now when he was at Cavalier, but yeah, he did score that winning penalty. But this season, he's had consistent performances, and I said he has that kind of role that nobody really wants. Breaking up of play, ball retention, but
had primarily played in a defensive role for Cavalier. I think he played one of the flank defense lines.
Yeah. Thomas into the area, into a dangerous area, and yeah, well, Barnett was attacking that as well. Their leading goal scorer, Barnett.
Yeah, that was a really good swinging free kick. It was far enough away from the goalkeeper to give his attacking players the headed opportunity.
Yeah.
Well, the goalkeeper was getting there, but if you see here, there were players, there were front men for the Dunbeholden team that were right there.
Yeah, Barnett, it was maybe just a little bit too high for him in the end, but those are the kind of deliveries we want to see more often from Ricardo Thomas. You know, long throw again. This is Evans, not Evans, sorry. Who was it actually from that wide area? Anyway, it comes to Thomas. Challenge there from Martin. Christian inside looking for Williams. Not sure if that was a strike attempted by Williams, but it was quite ambitious.
I think it was, though. He fancies his left boot. He fancies his left-footed shots very much so. Yeah, and he was hit with a lot of power. So
As
he
most
was going for
left-footers.
goal. Yeah.
Williams did score in the last match against Mobile United. Into the box now, can't be the first defender. It looks like it comes off the hand. Penalty.
Yeah.
Wow. Off the hand of Kimani Arboin, and right away Christopher Mason signals to the spot. And just like that, Dunbeholden with a big opportunity into the box. Ricardo Thomas, and yeah, the hand was away from the body from Kimani Arboin. Ooh,
Yeah.
off the thigh.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
Unfortunate for him, but the rules have to be followed, and referee makes no mistake. Donaldo Thomas wants this kick, and he gets it.
Yeah, Ricardo Thomas, his brother.
Donaldo Thomas, his brother, plays for Waterhouse.
Yeah. Ricardo from the spot. 1-0. Clinical. No chance for Eric Edwards. Didn't even dive. And there was no doubt in how Ricardo Thomas approached that he was very confident about putting it away. His first of the season, and Dunbeholden's 9th. 1-0 after 25 minutes. Yeah, clinical kick.
Yeah.
lots of pace behind it.
Yeah.
Saw that Eric Edwards was wrong-footed and made no mistake.
And that's Dunbeholden's only 5th goal against Arnett Gardens in 9 head-to-head meetings, which illustrates how dominant Arnett has been against them. But they have the advantage now, Dunbeholden. As we've said, they've made a positive start. You could see from the very outset the energy level, the body language of the Dunbeholden team.
Have been good.
Yeah, tackling quickly, moving quickly off the ball, and trying not to allow Arnett to set the tempo of the game.
Still think this season, still trying to find some form of identity, but as an important lead. So Thomas with a finish. Of course, 2-footed Ricardo Thomas. As we said, he plays on in both wing-back positions. Took the penalty with the right foot, but we've seen most of his deliveries coming from the left-hand side with his left. Always useful in football and not as common as people think.
Yeah. But I would have thought that he prefers his left foot.
I think so too.
Yeah, but if
maybe
you prefer your
precision-wise.
left foot, if you prefer your left foot, you're likely to hit the penalty with the foot that you prefer.
Yeah.
Be ready.
I shoot with both feet, but I never ever kick a penalty with my left foot.
Yeah. Well, I think for me, one is really only for standing.
Just to be clear, you're talking about yourself, okay?
Yes.
Yeah, just in case some of viewers may think you're talking about me.
Through to Damien Hyatt. Yeah, I'm very much like a Stephen Williams, very left-sided.
Yes.
Do use the right, but I would have to admit that it's mostly there for balance.
Yeah. I've seen you shoot well with the right foot, though, but it's not a preferred
It's far
option
and few
for you.
between.
Yeah. But I take the point that it's a little surprising for me that Ricardo just hit the penalty with his right foot, because I've always felt he was a predominantly or a preferred left-footed kicker.
Yeah. I've seen him kick the penalties with his right foot before as well, which is why, but as I said, there's so many times you see him in the free kicks as well. You think he's going to go with the right foot, and then he decides to go with the left, and the quality is not much different. But I guess if you ask him, he might say he slightly favors right, obviously by the penalty.
Yeah, yeah.
Ball through to Edwards. So Arnett with work to do. Dunbeholden for the time being has taken a bit of sting out of the contest. Arnett not really attacking the 18-yard areas as much as when they started. Through.
Yeah, significant thing about the Dunbeholden performance so far that we've seen is one of confidence. They are playing with confidence. And sometimes when a team is up and down in their form, their confidence level is a bit low.
Yeah.
We aren't seeing that from Dunbeholden.
And to say it was probably important from a neutral's perspective and from Dunbeholden, as we see Cunningham looking to put that into the area, and a strong decision to come out by Damien Hyatt. It was a good punch. And I think I'm not sure who that is that he took out as well.
He fell badly, though.
Yeah, was that a Juma Johnson getting into the area? It might have been. Here is Cunningham with the delivery. Lifted, it was a Juma Johnson. And I think he bailed out, but still got clattered. And Hyatt might come out worse of the two.
Yeah, I think of the two, Hyatt fell more badly.
Well, we've seen one goal so far, and it was from the penalty spot. This was the reason. Ball into the air from Ricardo Thomas, off the thigh. Well, it's sandwiched between his torso and the arm, but I think even though it touched what you would say the sleeve, I think there was contact on the skin area as well. I think
it seems so, and if you check his body language after it was given, I didn't see
argue.
a lot of dissent from him. So.
Yeah.
It wasn't that discernible on the replay, because it looking at it, it looks as if it may not have touched his hand. But for him not to dispute it, to me, is maybe a recognition that there may have been a slight touch that we're not picking up on the replay.
I think it did. I think, as I said, it rolled down the arm somewhat. I think sleeve and arm involved. And the fact is the arm stopped it from going further. And that's what Christopher Mason would have seen, because there's no way his chest alone could have stopped the ball from going on. So obviously the arm came into play.
It's just that the camera review didn't make that clear.
Yeah.
So I accept that. But As
But
I
as you
said,
said,
I didn't see any dissent from him.
No.
And usually, if you know you haven't handled a ball, and,
you would be,
and a penalty is given against you, your body language would show it.
Yeah, right away. And in fact, when the decision was given, he just got up and walked away, and as if he just accepted that. Yes, of course. And I certainly agree with you. If a player feels that he hasn't handled the ball, or
his body language would show it. Because he understands that the referee's decision is final, he may not go into the referee's face and quarrel, but you would see in his body language that he didn't think that he handled the ball, and I didn't see that.
Simpson. Across to Cunningham. Cunningham. Inside to Reed. Dropping deep. Fabian Reed. Yeah, that ball is well cut out by the goal scorer, Ricardo Thomas.
Ricardo Thomas is one of the most energetic flank defenders I've seen in Premier League football for years.
Yeah.
Staple from Harborview is in that conversation as well. Yeah, these guys are like non-stop energy.
Yeah. Into the area with a long throw was Evans, and Watkin, no surprise that he wins the aerial duel. So, yeah, O'Shane Staple for sure. And a high scoring wing back as well, O'Shane Staple. He scored already so far this season, and he had, 5 goals last year. He was the leading goal scorer from a wing back position.
Yeah.
Harborview man. Integral in their title lead. And Hyatt is down again. Christopher Mason is going to start the game.
Yeah. An exchange of words there between Damar Deacon and Ricardo Thomas, which isn't surprising.
Oh, Deacon will. In fact, Deacon so far in the first 30 minutes has been rather quiet for considering his general personality and character.
Yeah. I think it's the fall when he challenged Ajuma Johnson earlier that he's still feeling the effects there.
And it spun him around, of course.
Yeah.
Not the lightest person around, Damien Hyatt, so landed heavily.
It was on the fringe of the national setup about 5 or 6 seasons ago. I think probably the year when Arnott were champions last in 2017.
Yeah.
Was called up to the national squad and was in around the national setup, but didn't quite force his way in. Of course, Jamaica has, for a while now, produced pretty solid goalkeepers, stretching from Warren Barrett to Donovan Ricketts, and now Andre Blake. Really outstanding goalkeepers. Yeah, Aaron Lawrence, and among the best goalkeepers in CONCACAF.
Yeah.
So it would have been hard for Damien Hyatt to get in.
Of course. And there were always questions about Hyatt in terms of they thought his fitness. At one stage they were criticizing his size, but I must say a lot of times when he was called upon, he showed great levels of agility. But I do agree that sometimes he has looked on the heavier side. I thought last season he trimmed on tremendously, and has probably continued that. But even this season I've seen him make a couple saves that you would say, well, if that person was so heavy, he wouldn't have been able to be.
Sometimes you make allowances for January when it comes to weight.
Into the area, head on goal and into the back of the net. Well. Earl Simpson to the near post, glancing header down, and Ajuma Johnson, well, you can't keep him out of the frame right now. Ajuma with yet another assist on the season. And wow, just like that, Arnott Gardens draw level. I was about to say before this that Arnott, only one game this season they have failed to score in against Humble Lion. And yeah, they keep their high scoring alive. Ajuma with the delivery, his second assist of the season. And Earl Simpson, his second goal of the season. Lovely delivery into the box. Just looks so simple.
Yeah.
And well, Hyatt might be a little bit disappointed that he didn't get a hand to that.
Yeah, fine headed goal there. And we see from time to time where central defenders are very proficient in getting headed goals. And a lot of them press up when the set plays are there because they have a natural instinct of climbing and getting good headers on. And that was a typical central defender's goal.
So, all square after 34 minutes. Ricardo Thomas from the penalty spot. Earl Simpson there, the on it, number 4 from the corner. And a powerful header it was. And as you said, Lance, no surprise that that kind of header would come from a centre-back, because that's what they're known to do.
Yeah. It was a really good header.
Yeah.
And the delivery was excellent as well. Like the Ronaldo Webster finish from the Damian Atkinson corner in the previous game.
Yeah. Of course, Cavalier winning that game by 2-1 against Portmore, their first defeat of the season, Portmore United. So we are left with no undefeated teams in the Premier League 2022-23. In case you're wondering, Arnett Gardens currently lie 3rd in the table, behind Cavalier and Mount Pleasant. Dumbleholden in 8th on 12 points. Well, coming into this game on 12 points, the live table will show them at 13, joint with Waterhouse, but they have an inferior goal difference. Does Dumbleholden. Thomas, energy played back into the game. Powell, and yeah, it went out of play.
That was just marginal though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stephen Daly is seeing the assistant referee on this side of the field, just spotting it.
She'll tell you marginal is still out.
Yeah. I'm just saying that from the disappointment of the Dunbeholden, because the build-up looked promising.
Well, Fabian Reed is through, and I'm sure, no, I thought that might have been a foul there on Fabian Reed. Very unlucky. Anyhow, they retain possession. Johnson, who is now operating on the right-hand side, looking to get it into the area. Play broken up. Out to Powell. Is that a handball? No. Play continues. Powell. Nice link-up play with Gow. We'll come all the way back to Fabian McCarthy. Out wide to Thomas. Thomas, and yeah, it's a foul by Juma Johnson. Smart from Thomas as well. Just putting his body on the line there, turning his back and forcing Ajuma to go through him. I think it was more the second one.
Yeah, it was the second one, yeah.
Still a pretty good breeze. As you could see the ball hanging in it. Christopher Mason just having a word with Earl Simpson and letting him know he won't be tolerating any more of those kind of challenges. You can see that FIFA badge. Very fresh, Lance.
Yeah.
Just getting his promotion, and so well deserved. Standing couple seasons for Christopher Mason. Pretty good player as well.
Yeah.
Must be said.
So I'm told.
Yeah, there was a deflection there, but off one of his own, and he's out for a goal kick. Chevron James with the attempt. Here is Cunningham looking for Reed. Reed gives it away in the middle of the park, and well, it was well read. Bit of indecisiveness comes to Williams on his left side. Stephen Williams, and yeah, there was a bit of tugging there as well by Gerald Neal, and Williams decided to try with the right foot. I think that was probably the right decision, because he couldn't get it onto his left. Strong play. Look at it here. It actually was Cunningham who was tugging at him. Right idea, and I tell you, Eric Edwards would have been in problems had that not been blocked.
Yeah.
That was on target, and it's out for a corner.
To Cunningham's credit, he never allowed Williams to get comfortable.
Into the box, Christian with the left boot. Headed on by Barnett. Comes out to, Chavoy Watkin, and his skill doesn't work out on that occasion. It's a goal kick. Stephen Williams with that try. 1 goal so far this season. Didn't get a lot of game time for Waters, but was disappointing. I think he's looked a lot fitter this season, and his performances have been better. Anyhow, Juma Johnson looking to create some trouble here. Comes out to Deacon. Deacon, through ball looking for Reed, but he's well defended by Wilkes. Five-time winners, Arnett Gardens, and 4-time finalists. Certainly one of the top teams in the Jamaica Premier League. Last lifted a trophy in 2016-17, a season where they actually finished in 6th position.
Yeah.
Just like Harbourview last year. Got into the playoffs, and well, the true red of the Jungleists came to the fore and took it all the way. They were also the winners of the first ever Premier League in 1977, 78.
Yeah. And they were newly formed. They were just formed that year. So that's a bit of a record.
That was a serious side they had. They had 2 of the most potent strikers we've seen. I think that's one of the most successful partnerships we've seen back in the 70s. Double holding, looking to build a legacy of their own into the area. That's a nice take by Go. Go has had a pretty good half, by the way. Skillful player into the area. I've liked what I've seen from Tyrese Go, number 25.
Did show some promise in the little playing time he got while he was at Mount Pleasant.
Yeah.
But because of the high-powered roster there.
Barnett, and that's deep, and it goes out of play.
Yeah, he didn't get a lot of playing time, Go did. But a good quality player.
Yeah. Good young player, Tyrese Go, and he has good touch.
You spoke of the Arnett 78 team with, outstanding players on that team, and that happening in a time too where there are a lot of footballers who are outstanding cricketers as well.
Correct.
Richard Austin
was a part of.
A part of that Arnett Gardens team. Herbert Dago Gordon, who played for Boystown, was a national wicketkeeper batsman as well.
Yeah.
And
ooh, that's a nasty challenge from Evans, and he's going to go into the book.
Yeah.
Yellow card for Shanoy Evans, and yeah, a bit wild, and no surprise that it's Ricardo Thomas on the receiving end.
Yeah, very, very bad, reckless challenge there. And he has earned that yellow card for sure.
It was, as you said, Diego Gordon and Richard Danny Germs Austin.
Yeah. Everton Mattis, who played for the West Indies, was also an outstanding midfielder for Barbican.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially in those days, you find, well, I guess now you see a lot more youngsters early concentrating on one sport. But even in my time, and that was before me, as you said, youngsters played all sports, especially in the early years, and probably up to a pretty good level as well.
Yeah. Thomas appears to be in a lot of pain here. At the time of the injury, I just thought it was the kick to the abdominal region that may have hurt him. But he looks as if his arm.
Yeah, I wonder if he got studied as well.
Either that or it fell badly on the arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he is in a lot of pain, it seems.
I do remember a point last season where he badly injured I think it was his wrist.
Yeah.
His wrist was wrapped heavily for quite a bit of last season with Waterhouse. And I'm wondering if it is that same right wrist that has been
He's off the field at the moment getting attention. In the meantime, Nicoy Christian is about to deliver something inside the box.
Yeah. You like Christian in these areas. What can he do? Into the area. It was a dangerous ball.
I think it was Simpson that got the head to it, the goal scorer.
Yeah, over the top. Or was it? No, it's actually, well, initially it was signal goal kick, and I think Mason realized, it was off one of the defenders, as you said, Lance Earl Simpson.
Yeah, I think it was Simpson, yeah.
Not sure who was attacking it so heavily initially. Anyhow, out for another corner. There is Thomas, who is still in quite a bit of pain. But I think he'll be back on shortly.
Bye-bye, take 17.
Christian, this time with the left foot. And Watkin is up. That ball was a little bit too deep into the area. And yeah, out for a goal kick from Watkin. Coming to the end of the first half. Locked at 1, Ricardo Thomas. After some 29 minutes, was it? And then after 34, Earl Simpson, 4 minutes of added time to be played. And Arnett Gardens have a free kick in the attacking third. Fabian Reed down again. Has had to work hard in this half. Fabian Reed has not been given any space, and you can understand why. Not a man that needs much space to hurt you. And it was quite evident against Mount Pleasant. I mean, that goal he scored, he was under so much pressure. 2 players around him and still snuck it into the far post. It was an amazing finish from close range, but yeah. Anyhow, Ajuma Johnson on the left foot. This angle suits him. It is some way out though, but he does have the ability.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, he has creativity from the dead ball as well. We saw him play a pass. Oh, yeah.
Oh, disappointing.
Commentator's curse.
Yeah, hugely disappointing from Ajuma. He can do better than that for sure.
The less said about that one, the better.
Yeah.
But yeah, he had it was 2 games. It was before actually the Mount Pleasant game that he had a free kick where I think it was against Chapelton. A free kick from that same position. Everybody thought he was going to put it to the back post. Well, kick it towards goal, and just slipped a pass along the ground. It was Earl Simpson. In fact, that was when Earl Simpson got his only goal. With his first goal of the season.
Before now.
Yeah, before now. So his first goal, yeah, and to the back post. Anyhow, inside the area, and looking to clear it is Christian. Puts it back in, and that's going to be a foul, yeah. Arboin. But yeah, it was a lovely pass to the back post, and Earl Simpson read him perfectly, sprinting beyond the back line and towing it in. And I thought to myself, and as he executed the pass, Ajuma, he just pointed to his head to say, you know, that's how you think how to play.
Heads up play.
Heads, yeah. That was actually his first assist of the season. Today he's had his second. But definitely the chemistry between himself and Reed has been good this season for Arnett. Anyhow, 2 minutes have elapsed so far of the extra time. Oh, well, that was a awkward bounce for Gerald Neal.
Yeah. May have been a risky option to allow the goalkeeper to take it because he wasn't far off.
Yeah.
But he wasn't too sure. He took it himself.
Oh, allowed to play by Powell. It was Go inside the middle of the park who let it go. Now it comes to Powell. Back to McCarthy. Finds a pass outside to Thomas just to relieve the pressure. Thomas. Down the flank to Barnett. He's been hounded by Evans. He finds a good pass wide to Christian. Christian wide on the right-hand side. Difficult to take the ball off of him, Nicoy Christian. Low center of gravity, McCarthy. And that was a good ball into the box, you know. Looking for Stephen Barnett, but the connection isn't the best from the former Tivoli man.
Excellent build up there by Dunbehold and the engine room there, Nicoy Christian. Delightful delivery there from Fabian McCarthy.
Yeah.
But the header up at the top.
It just looked to me like the ball caught Barnett off guard, and he didn't position himself well, so it almost caught him. It almost hit him instead of him heading the ball.
To be fair, it was whipped in by McCarthy.
Well,
McCarthy didn't really float the ball, and he whipped it in. So,
yeah. As you would have to do from that kind of area.
Yeah.
Anyhow, that was half a chance.
Yeah, Barnett needed to have been more expectant and ready.
And that's it. So, the end of the first 45 minutes. Ricardo Thomas, after 27 from the spot, 29 to be exact. And yeah, then equalized by Earl Simpson. A lovely delivery into the area by Ajuma Johnson after 34 minutes.
Just to hear what the coaching staff will say at the end of the game with regard to, you know, Dunbeholden's match match plan and what the halftime talk was about, because they have looked even more purposeful since the halftime break.
Looking to come forward here. Fabian Reed, no whistle from Christopher Mason. You'd almost have to say for that goal for Shaquem Powell that Ezran Simpson would have got the assist. Because, I mean,
he gave the ball away.
That dribble out was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, he'd be very disappointed with that.
Stephen Barnett there. No goals for him so far in the first 76 minutes, but he had the assist. And he's now picked up a yellow card. Yet another booking in this game. So Cunningham downfield looking for Reed. Can Arnett pull one back quickly and then make a last run? Just 13 minutes to go plus stoppages. A goal now for Arnett, and the last 10 minutes or so will be possibly blockbuster. It'll be a Shanoy Evans long throw. No, decides to go short to Guthrie. I'm not sure if he was going to do all of that. Why he didn't just throw it. You have all your big centre backs forward, and then you look to do something like that and give it away. Should have opted for the throw into the box. Anyhow, Edwards. Nice control, comes out now to Evans. Evans inside, looking for Reed. And here's Barnett with some space, being trapped by the captain, Guthrie. And Guthrie plays it out. Last touch by him, throw to Dumble Holding. Deep in the Arnett half. 4-2 the lead. Sure, who would have expected 6 goals in this fixture?
Don't see Dunbeholden giving this one up now. They've worked too hard, and to be honest, Arnett isn't delivering the kind of opposition at the moment to suggest that they'll get back.
Yeah, when the game just started, probably at that point there was some moments with Arnett on top, but as you said, the energy from Dunbeholden was very good, and then they got that go-ahead goal, kept the intensity. Goal kick. Guthrie.
Hasn't been able to make that much of an impact since he came on, Guthrie.
No, Philander wing is certainly offside. No excuse there, because he could see right along the line, did Philander wing, so just caught daydreaming. Damien Hyatt is down again. Well, the Sportsmax app moment brought to you by the Sportsmax app, and it is this goal by Shefoy Watkin. Lovely header towards the near post, and a high looping delivery by Nicoy Christian with the left foot. Another assist for him, and the big centre back putting Dunbeholden at the time ahead by 2-1. The Sportsmax app moment. So much sporting content on the Sportsmax app. Cricket, football, tennis, you name it. Go find it. controlled by wing, but it's taken off him by Christian. Nice pass inside, looking for Barnett. And it's broken up. Comes back to Ezron Simpson. Evans inside to Johnson. Working hard, Dumbleholden, even though they are leading by 4-2. Yeah, trying to maintain that level of intensity. Never seen so many goals in this fixture. Nice ball into the area. Looking for Reed. Cut out. Inside. Shot on goal. Well handled by Damien Hyatt.
Yeah, that looks smart. Really smart.
Kind of player you'd want to get in there. Juma Johnson able to cut in on his left foot. Good skill by Johnson. And was trying to pick out that far corner. Somewhat like Mohamed Salah. But couldn't find it. One of those moments that I was talking about, Hyatt, that spring still there.
Yeah.
The hardest save, but still good hands.
Yeah, that was high quality for sure.
Yeah, as we said, have never seen the highest amount of goals we've seen in this fixture is 4, which came in the first match they ever played back in 2018. It was a 3-1 win to Arnett Gardens. And yeah, that's the only time. Apart from that, we had a 2-2 draw in 2019 where both teams were reduced to 10 men. So 6 goals, unheard of.
And Dunbeholden setting themselves up for a rare victory over Arnett anyway.
Just a second in their history.
Yeah.
So surprising that first game ever in their history in 2018. That 3-1 win, it was a brace by one Fabian Reed.
That's right.
Yeah, and another by one Marvin Morgan, Mr. Man.
Yeah. Scored the winning goal when Arnett last won the championship in 2017.
Yes.
But I've been very impressed with Dunbeholden today.
Yeah, they played well.
Yeah, they came out with a purpose and they have delivered.
Yeah,
4 goals already.
They've grown into the game, and certainly in the second half, it's been more of what we were used to seeing from them last year in terms of that level of intensity. 85th minute, and they're still tracking players heavily, pressing the Arnett team. You can see Fabian McCarthy and company there on the ball. Anyhow, here is Marlon Allen. Not as prolific this season. Good move into the area. And Chavoy Watkin is there again. Let me tell you, he's a candidate for man of the match as well. Chavoy Watkin.
Yeah, I would think so.
Scored a goal, and most of the good plays defensively have come from him.
Yeah.
Obviously,
I know Ricardo
yes,
scored
right.
a double.
Yeah, he's right up there, actually.
Yeah.
I think probably he might be a slight favorite, maybe, Thomas.
But Chavoy Watkins' contribution to this game is undeniable.
Juma Johnson, another good delivery into the area. Makes contact with a couple Arnett players, and then that man Watkin gets it away again. Oh, well, that touch isn't the best. But he did his main job, which was to clear his area.
Yeah.
I've always liked Watkin. He was a favorite of George Davis last year in every game for Portmore. Yeah, when he was at Portmore. George was always looking out for him, but he lived up to that expectation, and he's put together a lot of solid games. In fact, it's rare to ever see him have a bad game.
Yeah, well, I personally never saw him have a bad game.
I can't remember. I think there was one where he got sent off. I think I've seen him play one, but as you said, he's a very consistent performer.
Yeah.
And with the transfer of Shaquille Dyer, the captain, he has filled that void very well.
And the fact is, his outstanding performance at central defense today has to be also looked at against the background of the opposition, because he's up against one of the most potent attacking teams in the game.
Who also scored 8 goals in 2 games.
Yeah, coming into this fixture.
Yeah, coming into this. Fabian Reed, he had the job there. I mean, yes, Fabian did end up earning a penalty, but that wasn't even against him. It was Fabian McCarthy who brought him down. Anyhow, Arnett again. And it's broken up.
Yeah, I think Dunbeholden planned for Arnett today, and they've executed this plan. Only the 3rd time in their history that they're scoring 4 goals in a Premier League match. Dunbeholden. 4-3 over Humberland in October 2018 and 4-2 over Malines in February 2020.
Yeah. Long throw by Evans again. Can't understand that he has a throw like that and then wanted to opt for a short throw. I mean, that's a rare talent, that ability. Arnett, still 2 goals down. I think at this point the fat lady is singing, so they would have to get something immediately and then hope for some stoppage time. Bad challenge on Philando wing.
That's going to be a yellow card, or it should be. Yeah.
Burkett.
So teenager Burkett
in the book.
Yeah, gets aggressive here in the top flight.
Ooh. Scissors challenge as well from Burkett. Dangerous one. You'd have to say a striker's challenge.
Yeah. But it speaks to the intensity of this Dunbeholden team. They are not about to allow this 2-goal advantage to slip close to the end.
Yeah. Guthrie with the free kick into the area. Can't be the first line of defense. Not enough flight on it. Cleared out of the area. It will be a throw again to Arnett Gardens. Approaching 90 minutes. And Dunbeholden up by 2. Nicoy Christian played the full game today as well. He has had a pretty good one. Good in the middle of the park. Couple critical passes in the second half. He had quite a flat first half, but then this, well, yeah, that's well over the top from Evans, is it? Or it's actually from Gerald Neal.
Yeah.
6 minutes expected in terms of stoppage time.
Yeah, well, there's a lot that can happen in 6 minutes, so Dunbeholden would be advised to keep their shape and continue to be as diligent as they have been for the entire match.
Watkins with a long ball cut out.
Arnett Gardens is the kind of team that loves drama. You see them put one in now and then the whole Arnett Gardens support team rails up and Arnett gets energy.
Yeah. You have to risk it all at this point. Here's Wing. Cross to Simpson. Can't say that the Arnett substitutions have necessarily yielded much joy into the area from Evans, and that's probably going to go out for a goal kick. Yes, it is.
And Christian, whose contribution has been really solid.
1 assist and some good passes.
Yeah, is in no haste to get the ball back to the spot where it needs to go to get the game restarted.
No. And when time winds down and he's still on the field, a lot of times you see him collect it and just go on those long dribbles towards the corner flag or so. And a lot of the Arnett supporters disappointed by what their team has brought today, but Dunbeholden have been the hungrier team.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, Chris, because that's what I saw from the start of the game. And we're really determined.
Christian. So for you, Are you saying it's Ricardo Thomas, or it's down to Ricardo Thomas or Shafari Watkin?
I'm going to give the edge to Ricardo Thomas, because as a defender, to score 2 goals in a 4-2 win for your team, and one of them as beauty as the right footer was.
Well, here is a chance again, and it's the acrobatic attempt by Barnett. And then, well, I'm not sure what Eric Edwards was doing there, but it's out for a goal kick. Nothing doing from Mason.
Yeah.
Burkett getting in the middle of it. Yeah, take your point. As a defender, he not only earned the penalty, but he finished it very well. And then, well, you know, that could have been a penalty, because I'm not sure what Edwards was doing.
Yeah, that if a penalty wasn't given there, I don't think anyone could complain.
Burkett looking to shield it. I mean, maybe Christopher Mason saying, well, the ball was going out of play.
He barged them off the ball.
Lucky. And maybe if the scoreline was not 4-2, it might have been a different decision. Anyhow. But yeah, for him to, and then for him to score a goal like he did.
Yeah.
Lovely strike from the left-hand side of the box, cutting in. And right throughout the game, actually, he showed a lot of quality. Some telling balls into the area right throughout the game. I certainly agree with you that he's been the best.
It's hard to deny. It's hard to deny Ricardo Thomas the man
for
of the match. But I have to say that on a different night, Shapoy Watkins will be my man of the match.
Yeah. Defending again. There's a strike on goal from Ajuma Johnson. Wow. That had goal written all over it. And Hyatt, I can tell you, was nervous there. Was it the right foot that Ajuma actually hit that one with? It was the left.
Yeah, I think it was the left.
In here, let's see. Out to John. Yeah, the left foot. Ooh,
that was going goalwards.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Hyatt was there.
Yeah, but the power may have beaten him.
True. Anyhow, good defending. Wing. Ooh, good skill by Wing. But still is closed down by Barnett. Takes too long. Out to Guthrie. Inside to Wing again. He's got to get that into the box though. Back to Wing. Not the best pass. Cleared out. Comes as far as Purcell. Evans touches off. But it will come back to him. Evans. And now the ball is freed. To Powell. Powell, acres of space, has scored already. Shaquem Powell. Don't behold it. Oh, and Powell tries to do it himself instead of using his teammate. And loses it. Battle in the park. Away goes Allen. Nice ball over the top. Allen under pressure. Good try. Well, just wide. Juma Johnson.
He's worked really hard. He's been a tower of strength for Arnett Gardens tonight, and he has had some moments of misfortune.
Yeah. Fabian Reid it was who was battling away, and even though he was under so much pressure, Fabian Reid, he's a lot stronger than people think on the ball. And himself and Ajuma, they are frustrated because they just haven't been able to get it done for Arnett. They haven't had that level of support.
Yeah. I don't think the Arnett Gardens midfield has operated as well as it needed to tonight.
And the defense line has let them down as well with mistakes.
Yes.
So, but Reid and Ajuma, Fabian and Ajuma certainly have put in another match of quality. But they've also been well marshaled. Cunningham. James getting in the thick of things. Wilkes away. Comes to Burkett. That's a foul.
Yeah, he was pulled down.
Wing. A bit ridiculous. I'm not sure why he's arguing Wing. That was a very obvious foul.
Yeah.
Smart by Burkett. Just cutting inside. So he, as you say in basketball, drew the contact. And I'm sure Christian will take his own sweet time. 6 minutes have elapsed.
Yeah.
And this will be a big victory for Dumble Holden. Huge victory. This will take them up to 15 points. And carry them possibly into the playoff spots. We'll see. That's it. Christopher Mason has seen it all, has seen enough. Tumble Holding, last year's beaten finalists, defeat Arnett Gardens by 4-2. A massive performance. That man, Ricardo Thomas, with a brace. One from the penalty spot. And one after 59 minutes off that right foot, cutting in. But Arnett Gardens' inconsistency in the back line and a very flat midfield means that they can't penetrate this Tumble Holding team enough. Shefai Watkin with a goal as well, and a big performance at the back as usual. But the men from Portmore with a big 3 points.